So, what happens when a man who has sworn to never take a side is suddenly faced with pure, undeniable evil? Well, today we're diving into the McAuliffe's Conspiracy. It's a story set on 26th century Mars that pushes a diplomat right to the edge and asks a really powerful question. What does it actually take to spark a revolution?
And that question, right there, is the absolute core of this story. We're going to follow a guy named John Jay. He's a career diplomat, someone who's built his entire life, his whole identity, on the principle of neutrality. But when he stumbles onto a conspiracy that threatens to literally enslave an entire colony, he's forced to look at his own ideals and wonder, are they enough? He has to become the one thing he swore he'd never be, a fighter.
Okay, so let's set the scenes. It's the 26th century, and we're on Mars. Just picture this scattered network of domed outposts. They're like these isolated little bubbles of life on a vast red desert, all held together by a really, really fragile thread of diplomacy. But, beneath that calm surface, the ground is about to split wide open.
Now, these are the two worlds at the heart of our story. On one side, you've got Primal Vortex. That's John Jay's home turf. It's all about open dialogue, working together, sharing knowledge. Then, on the other side, you have McAuliffe Base. Think cold, militaristic mining colony, a place where efficiency is everything and fear is how they keep people in line. These two places, these two totally opposite ways of life, are on a collision course. So, who's on our team? Well, at the center of it all is John Jay. He's the charismatic leader, the master negotiator. Right beside him is Brandy, an android with this incredible legal mind and crazy good cryptographic skills. Plus, she can read biometric data, which means, lies just don't get past her. And rounding them out is Churchill, a tactical AI who is just as dangerous in a firefight as he is hacking a system. They are the perfect team for a diplomatic crisis. Or so they think. The whole thing kicks off with a high-stakes heist. Two critical minerals, quantium and viroxide, have vanished from McAuliffe Base. Now, these aren't just valuable rocks. They're essential for the colony's atmosphere and life support. Without them, people will eventually suffocate. So John Jay's team gets called in to investigate, but they figure out real fast that this is no simple theft. They've just pulled the first thread of a conspiracy that is way, way bigger than they could have imagined. So our team lands at McAuliffe Base, and what happens? Bam. They hit a brick wall of official lies. The story they're being fed is a total fabrication, and they realize they're going to have to dig for the truth one little piece at a time. And their investigation is just a masterclass in detective work. First, they get completely stonewalled by the base's leadership, but Brandy and Churchill find a crack. The security logs from the night of the theft were digitally altered. That proves the official story is impossible. And that one little discovery leads them to this disturbing pattern of top engineers who've just vanished. And then they find a series of accidents that are clearly no accidents at all. And this is where it all starts to really unravel. Brandy finds a ghost payroll. 16 workers who are officially listed as dead are somehow still on the books, and their salaries are being funneled into a secret, untraceable account. I mean, it's a classic case of corruption, sure, but it's more than that. It's proof for this conspiracy goes all the way to the top. Then they get a huge break from a terrified insider, the HR director, Bella Clark. The official line from the governor's office is that all the base's problems are because of stress migration. Basically, people cracking under pressure. But as Clark tells them, stress doesn't leave airlock codes doctored. This isn't just corruption. It's a calculated, violent campaign of terror. And here it is, the terrifying truth at the center of it all. The stolen minerals, they aren't for sale. The quantium is needed to create a stable energy matrix, and the viroxide can amplify bioelectric signals. Put them together, and what do you get? The key components for a colony-wide neural control network, a weapon that can hijack the mind of every man, woman, and child on that base. This was never about money. It's about absolute, horrifying power. This changes everything. The investigation is over, but a new, much more dangerous conflict is just getting started. John Jay is now facing an impossible choice. Does he stick to his lifelong principles, or does he fight to save an entire colony from being enslaved? I mean, you have to understand, for 20 years, John Jay has been the guy who brings people together. He's the architect of peace on Mars, the diplomat who ended the sintering wars. His entire life
His whole identity is built on the idea of neutrality. So for him to take a side now, it isn't just a change in tactics, it's a betrayal of everything he stands for.
But then he starts hearing the stories. He goes down to the lower decks and he listens to miners who are left to die in a collapsed tunnel. Not because they couldn't be saved, but because Governor Harrington decided the mining equipment was more valuable than their lives. And for John Jay, this abstract conspiracy suddenly becomes a brutal human reality. And just when you think the stakes can't get any higher, they do. The team discovers Harrington's endgame. It isn't just to control his own base. No, he plans to weaponize the virus site, launch it into the atmosphere of other colonies, and trigger a catastrophic failure in their life support. He's not just trying to control a base. He's building the power to hold the entire planet hostage. So this brings us right back to that central question. Can neutrality really survive when it's staring absolute evil in the face? For John Jay, standing before a madman with the power to destroy worlds, the answer is a hard no. He realizes that in this fight, being neutral isn't a virtue, it's just another form of surrender. The diplomat is gone. A revolutionary has taken his place. So the decision is made. John Jay and his team, they link up with the Martian resistance for this desperate, all-or-nothing assault on Harrington's regime. I mean, the odds are just astronomically against them, but they have to try. The fate of Mars is literally hanging in the balance. They have 18 hours, that's the window, 18 hours to topple the government before Harrington can activate that neural network and lock the colony down for good. The plan is a series of perfectly timed strikes. A popular uprising in the mines, Brandy hacks the central comms network, Churchill takes out the drone army, and a final, desperate assault on the command center led by Jay himself. But as soon as the rebellion kicks off, Harrington responds with just overwhelming force. He unleashes his private army, 7,000 elite soldiers armed to the teeth, loyal only to him. The rebels are outmanned, outgunned, fighting on enemy turf, but they have one thing Harrington's army doesn't: a cause worth dying for. And somehow, against all odds, they succeed. Through a combination of brilliant tactics, raw courage, and maybe a little bit of luck, the rebels dismantle Harrington's war machine piece by piece. Churchill's logic bomb cripples the drone fleet right before it fires on civilians. Brandy turns the base's own security systems against Harrington's troops. They take the command center. They free McAuliffe Base. The war is over, but the fight for the future of Mars, that has just begun. Tearing down a corrupt regime is one thing. Building a better, more just world from the rubble is a whole other challenge. So, what's next? Well, the challenges are huge. How do you rebuild a society that's been shattered by years of fear? How do you create a new government that's both fair and actually works? How do you heal those deep, bitter wounds between humans and androids? And, maybe most importantly, how do you prepare to defend this new freedom from all the people who will surely try to take it away? This is their first step. They form a provisional council, a new government built not on the orders of one leader, but on shared consensus. For the first time in Martian history, miners, engineers, doctors, diplomats, and even androids like Brandy all have an equal voice in shaping their own future. It's a bold, fragile experiment, and it won't be easy, but it's a start. And as they look out at this new world they helped create, John and Brandy stand together and pretty much sum up the whole message of the story. The future of Mars, and maybe their own future, isn't about power or control. It's about what becomes possible when people and androids finally decide to move forward together. And that leaves us with one final big question. This story is a great reminder that a revolution isn't just one single event. It's a process. It's all the hard, messy, unglamorous work of building a new world from the ashes of the old. And it forces us to ask ourselves, what does it truly take to build a better world, not just on some fictional Mars, but right here, right now, on Earth?